Tonight on News 5 Live, Prime Minister John Briceño finally responds to a letter from the conservation community requesting that all EIA be placed on hold. The Ministry of Education says that the Anglican management was aware of the dire situation at St. Mary's since June. The issue of undocumented migrants persists. A pair of Dominican nationals is caught with fake immigration stamps. These stories and more coming up on News 5 Live.
Great Belize Productions Channel 5, proud winner of 9 Caribbean Media Awards for 2021. Best Investigative Report, Best News Item, Best Coverage of People with Disabilities, Best Financial Literacy Journalism, Best Videographer, Best Television Commercial Spot, and the People's Choice Award, with 2 special mentions for Financial Literacy Journalism.
I'm always on the go, and the country is my home. So when I want to get away from it all, I immerse myself with my favorite movies, all from the new Smart Stream app. It's easy to use this service. Purchase your movies from the app and use your mobile data, Smart Stream data packages, or smart broadband to stream and enjoy.
Be like me and stream on the go with Smart Stream.
Welcome to Design Depot. All in one place. Shop brands you know and trust, like Kohler. Welcome, GE Appliances.
Welcome.
Oran Windows.
Welcome.
Tiles from around the world.
Welcome.
Sherwin-Williams Paint and Coating. Visit us today at mile 3 on the Philip Golson Highway or call us at 223-3768. Design Depot. All in one place.
Say hello to DigiTV. Step into the world of digital entertainment. DigiTV gives you access to 100 plus channels on your TV or your mobile device at unbeatable prices. Take your shows with you wherever you go. It's a new level of freedom. Enjoy your favorite entertainment, sports, family, Latin, and local channels. No more fighting for the TV remote. You can access whenever you want from 2 devices at the same time. DigiTV is for everyone. And with the fastest fiber and mobile networks in the country, you are guaranteed to have the best experience ever. There's no installation required. Sign up for the Max package for only $40 monthly and get the first 2 months for just $30. For a limited time, get 50% off a Fire Stick when you sign up. Download the DigiTV app from the Android or Apple stores. Just WhatsApp us at 608-8888 to sign up. It's that easy. Watch, experience, enjoy DigiTV today.
Taking its name from the venerable father of the nation, the George Price Highway stretches 77 miles from Belize City to Benqueviejo. Originally built in the 1930s, this cross-country highway system is the artery that links Belize to Central America at the western border with Guatemala. That connection facilitates overland trade, supporting Belize's economic development. Winding its way across the scenic countryside, the George Price Highway from Roaring Creek to Esperanza has been fully reconstructed to meet international standards, with particular emphasis on road safety. A shorter and hassle-free commute is best enjoyed when everyone obeys the traffic laws. To reduce the number and frequency of road traffic accidents, it means that a seatbelt must be worn at all times and the speed limit observed when traveling along the highway. It also means that pedestrians must use sidewalks and crosswalks where available. Buses should only board and discharge passengers at a designated bus stop. Road safety is everyone's responsibility. It begins with you.
So here we have 2 households, 2 kids doing what kids do, and 2 loads of stained covered laundry. One uses regular detergent, but only Fab has tough stain lifting power.
Wait, really?
That's right. To get rid of all types of stains, use Fab. Adding Fab laundry detergent to the wash not only fights the toughest stains, but the colors won't fade. And Fab leaves clothes smelling fantastic.
So pass it on.
Because your family deserves the best in laundry care. Fab, taking care of your laundry so you can take care of your family. Find it at your nearest store. Exclusively distributed by Big Limited.
This newscast is brought to you by the Belize Bank Limited. Our country, your bank.
Good evening and welcome to News 5 Live for Wednesday, September 7th. I am Sabrina Daly. Prime Minister John Briceño has finally responded to a letter sent to him on August 25th by a consortium of 12 non-government organizations. The response they received, however, has raised more questions than answers. And tonight, the conservation community is trying to figure out what its contents are truly saying. The environmental NGOs had asked for a halt to the environmental impact assessments, including public consultations until the amendments to Belize's environmental laws are completed. The request was made in light of the government's commitments under the Blue Bond Agreement. The PM's response came in the form of a 2-page letter, which explains that the government, serious about its commitments under the Blue Loan Agreement and the Conservation Funding Agreement, has established a Blue Bond unit within its office to ensure government's compliance with its financial and conservation obligations under the agreements. The letter goes on to state that while government is doing everything to comply with its commitments, it has gone ahead and sought legal advice on the matter before responding. It goes on to directly address the issue by saying, quote, "There is no question that my government will ensure that any EIA approvals are granted in adherence to Belize's laws and regulations. It is a clear overreach to suggest that within the context of the agreements that all EIAs should be paused," end quote. The PM's letter goes on to say that the government is of the view that conservation and sustainable human development can be achieved. It goes on to say, quote, "We have high levels of poverty in this country. This cannot be ignored in the interests of conservation," unquote. The letter does acknowledge, however, the importance of building climate resiliency and supporting conservation, and assures that government will ensure that sustainable human development will at all times comply with Belize's laws. But the NGOs are not comfortable with the tone of the letter. This evening, Vice President for Oceania in Belize, Senator Janelle Chanona, said that while they are still reviewing the response, there are some concerns.
I got very nervous in terms of seeing the line of referring to legal counsel, because as we've seen lately, a lot of that legal counsel that the government has received in the past have put us in some interesting situations. So I do hope that all of us can trust implicitly in the guidance that the government is being given. But the crux, yes, is that we had questions jointly in relation to the Blue Bond Agreement, but it is also that there were other things that we were also asking if there wasn't disconnect. So it's not just about the Blue Bonds Agreement, it is also about the EIA regulations as per the February 2020 amendments that also speak to looking at how EIAs proceed in relation to potential impacts to the Belize Barrier Reef Reserve system and making sure that that is safeguarded. It's asking about the policies that are still ongoing. So that's where I see, there's a lot, as I said, that doesn't reconcile, and I will be counting on the media to reconcile the contents of this letter, even with the October statement that we got initially that looked at the ports in specific, but certainly we've added to that list. So we want to know how we're proceeding, because I'm still not sure, as you called out, that we're on the same page in terms of where our concerns are rooted. And it's not just in one agreement. I don't know that the community has ever said that we are anti-development or anti-job creation. But that's a conversation we want to have, because it cannot be that we're using job creation and development to justify these decisions if we don't have clarity on what type of jobs are we talking about, what type of development agenda we're talking about. That is the conversation we want to have. Admittedly, it will be a difficult conversation, but we have to have it if everybody's knowing where we're going and how we're going to get there. What we're calling out is that, it's these projects today. But as we've seen in the past, and, if we don't arrest this now, what we will continue to see in the future is this project to project scenario, constantly trying to figure out how we're going to make everything work in the same space. And that's the cycle we're trying to address. It is not stopping development. It's putting a pause on certain things so that we have clarity, so that we have a plan. We have said if we're failing to plan, then we're planning to fail, and we can't afford to fail.
So where does this leave the NGOs on these important matters? Chanona said they will continue to press and ask the questions to get more clarity.
Many of us in civil society also feel a pressing responsibility to also call out and to ask these questions and to keep asking these questions until there's clarity in that position. There is simply too much to risk, and I don't see that as we strive for new jobs, which I think collectively everybody wants to see, sustainable development, meaningful jobs, long-term jobs, that we're not risking the jobs that are already there, because that would also, to compromise those opportunities would also create a slippery slope that nobody wants to go down. So I like I said, we're still trying to unpack the letters, what it says, and what it says between the lines. But certainly we will continue to ask these questions because these are shared natural resources, and there should be clarity so that everybody understands. And as I said, I have no shame in saying I am still very confused about the state of play, and I would like that clarity. And I think as a Belizean, in terms of being a marine advocate, that we deserve that clarity.
Chanona also wrote a letter today regarding the Port of Belize cargo expansion and cruise tourism facility, also known as the Waterloo Project. That letter addressed to Chief Executive Officer Dr. Kenrick Williams, who chairs the National Environmental Appraisal Committee, brings up the August 2022 Environmental and Social Impact Assessment that the Port of Belize submitted for the project. That letter states in part, quote, despite the apparent attempts made by the developer to close the gap between its 2021 addendum and the latest 2022 ESIA, there are still glaring shortcomings as it relates to the 6 points the developer had cited as reasons the NEAC denied environmental clearance in December 2021, unquote. Chanona used this project as an example of the clarity they need on all the projects that are ongoing, planned, or will come about in the future.
If we use Port of Belize's cargo expansion and cruise tourism facility as a case study, I am confused, and I was in that room at the Biltmore for several hours, and I heard several references to the new ESIA and this new ESIA, and we're here because after the proposal was rejected in 2021, the process was reinitiated in 2022, and that's why we're here. So I am confused, and hopefully I can be guided appropriately in terms of, well, is that project new or old? Because if the government agencies, which are bound to those commitments, are referring to it in public consultations as new ESIAs, then how is that defined? You see, it gets very complicated to little ordinary me in terms of reconciling where that is. And I think that's the big picture here, that I still don't feel that there's clarity, and I think everybody else seems to have that clarity, but I will confess I still have a lot of questions in terms of where we are and how we got here is clear, but where we're going is still uncertain.
Coming up, schools' hairstyle rules are shackles of our colonial past, says Minister of Education Francis Fonseca. Details when we return.
My name is Dr. Marcelo Coy, and I'm an obstetrician and gynecologist at Belize Medical Associates. Pregnant women are at risk of getting infected with the COVID-19 virus and are at higher risk to develop severe complications and illnesses. The COVID-19 vaccine is safe to use during pregnancy. All pregnant women should get vaccinated to protect themselves and their newborn. Visit any vaccination site and get vaccinated.
V-Bucks by Benny's, Belize's newest multi-brand rewards program. To access V-Bucks, download the mobile app or access the website portal at vbucks.bz and set up your account. If you already have a Benny's account, chances are you already have V-Bucks. Don't let them go to waste. To earn V-Bucks, make a purchase at any Benny's location or at any of these Benny's entities, namely Island Freight Forwarders, Best Manufacturing, Benquip, and B-Mart. Once V-Bucks are earned, reward yourself. Use V-Bucks to buy items or exchange for cash. You can also double, triple, or even quadruple your V-Bucks on promotional days. It is simple. Purchase, earn, redeem. Loyalty is always rewarding with B-Box. Brought to you by Venice, celebrating 75 years of quality and savings.
Let's talk energy. Did you know that saving energy can affect the overall cost of electricity? Practicing energy conservation helps BEL to use mostly low-cost options for sourcing and delivering energy to consumers. We take proactive measures to stabilize the cost of power by monitoring and purchasing the most affordable energy available at any given time. The more energy we save, the more we can meet energy demands using the lowest cost option. Belize Electricity Limited, providing safe, reliable, and sustainable energy solutions.
After a rough week of school, Jake and his friends decide to treat themselves to frozen coffee. And since they don't have cash on them, they decide to use eCash. With eCash's geolocation feature, Jake can easily find the nearest coffee spot. With eCash's built-in option to split bills, Jake can pay the bill and his friends can reimburse their portion of the bill. Jake scans the merchant's code and confirms payment. Jake then views his transaction history and taps on the transaction recently made, then taps the split the bill button where he selects the evenly option to evenly split the bill. The application splits the bill automatically. His friends receive and accept the request. Geolocation and splitting the bill via eCash makes Jake enjoy his digital lifestyle.
They say, no wait till a legend is gone fit telling good. So, the National Institute of Culture and History, in association with the September Celebrations Commission, BTB, and the Belize City Council presents the Living Legend Concert, honoring the mighty Lord Rayburn. Live at the newly named Lord Rayburn Plaza, behind the Memorial Park on Marine Parade, Friday, September 9th, 9 p.m. The TLC Band, Nello Player, Miss Honey D, Trumet Perriott, Jasmine Songstress, Bastic, Consigo, and more will be performing all the classic Lord Rayburn hits. Hosted by DJ Dollar, the living legend himself will be in attendance for a special tribute. So bring out the entire family Friday, September 9th from 9 p.m. behind the Memorial Park for the living legend Lord Rayburn Concert. Sponsored by the National Institute of Culture and History, the Honorable Francis Fonseca, the September Celebrations Commission, BTB, Mayor Bernard Wagner, and the Belize City Council.
I am proud to be a Belizean.
Great Belize Productions Channel 5, proud winner of 9 Caribbean Media Awards for 2021. Best Investigative Report, Best News Item, Best Coverage of People with Disabilities, Best Financial Literacy Journalism, Best Videographer, Best Television Commercial Spot, and the People's Choice Award, with 2 special mentions for Financial Literacy Journalism.
Are you looking for low-cost television advertising? Have we got a deal for you? Advertise on Channel 5's Daily Classifieds. Channel 5's Daily Classifieds is one of the most effective methods for introducing yourself and your business to the community. Use our Daily Classifieds to recruit employees, promote specials, promote your products or services, promote a business opportunity, increase traffic to your website, and advertise items you have for sale. Let us help you to save valuable time and money. Call us today at 280-0013 or visit us at our offices on Coney Drive to discuss how we can help your business grow affordably. Channel 5's Daily Classifieds. Advertise today.
Dwayne Moody, Isani Cayetano, Marian Ali, Paul Lopez. Your News 5 Belize teams do whatever it takes. Go wherever they need to go, so you can catch the story wherever you are, whenever you want, on whatever device. Channel 5 Belize on television, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. Because news is now everywhere, all the time. And so are we.
The Minister of Education says he supports the removal of school rules that prevent children from entering the classroom because of the length of their hair or hairstyle. Minister Francis Fonseca referred to the rules as a reflection of our colonial past, saying, quote, "These things are shackles of colonialism," unquote. Here is what he told reporters on the matter.
The ministry put out a very clear, strong statement on the issue. Schools do have the right, let me say that very clearly, schools do have the right to set rules. We want our students to be disciplined, of course, but those rules cannot be unconstitutional. They cannot be arbitrary. They can't be discriminatory in any manner. We have a fundamental objective and responsibility at the Ministry of Education to ensure that we protect the constitutional rights of our students as well as our teachers. In this case, we're talking about students. So people have kind of put up this straw argument about it being about discipline. It's not about discipline. We're all in favor of discipline. Everybody wants our young people to be disciplined. We want productive, positive citizens produced in our education system. But the education system also has to follow the laws of the country and the rules of the country. So we were very clear, and immediately the Chief Education Officer got in contact with the management of Bishop Martin High School immediately and informed them of the law, informed them of the rules, informed them of the ministry's position. And the school was obliged to comply. Some of the young people, the parents, agreed to cut their hair, and that's fine. But not everything has to be a public argument. If we can settle issues in a respectful manner, then that's what we're going to do.
So would you support that rule being struck out?
Yes, man. I think these things are shackles of colonialism that are still a part of. What does your hair, the length of your hair, have to do with how you learn? As one young person, I think, posted on social media, it's not about what's on top of your head, it's about what's inside your head.
Another issue that has also prevented some children from being in school in the Toledo district is the deplorable road conditions. Earlier this week, there were reports of students being unable to get to school because of bad road conditions in Toledo district. But this is not the first time we have heard such reports. Shabby road conditions in southern Belize have been a persistent challenge by students for many years. Today, reporters asked Minister Fonseca what can be done to remedy the situation.
The rural road network is a massive challenge. That's a massive undertaking, and in particularly in the south. There has been a lot of neglect over many years. So it's an ongoing challenge, and I absolutely applaud the work of the Ministry of Infrastructure Development, Rural Development. They're trying to do everything they can to assist. Whenever we call upon them, they jump, get out there, get their equipment out there and try to help. But every time you fix something, it rains, it washes away. These things require permanent fixes. We're talking about big issues today. We're discussing big issues that require substantial investments. They require long-term planning. So the rural road network, no secret, that's a nightmare. It's a nightmare, and I have talked about this for many years. I absolutely, feel so terrible when I see our young people in these rural communities having to walk miles because the bus can't go into their community. So they have to walk out to the bus, and some of them have to get up 4:30, before 5 in the morning to walk out through mud and water to get to these communities. The rural road network requires that's hundreds of millions of dollars investment. That's a big project. And I hope that under our government that someday we will be able to have a big project that will deal with the rural road network once and for all.
The Ministry of Education's new primary school curriculum will require that teachers spend more time at school, up to 3 hours more per week. There are reports that some teachers are not taken too kindly to this revision of work hours within the new curriculum. But Minister Fonseca says it will take some time before this change comes into effect in schools across the country, while some institutions have already moved ahead to implement increased work hours.
There was a discussion about contact hours, the increase of contact hours, because of the new format and structure of the curriculum. This is a transition year. So as we have said to the teachers union, as we've said to our teachers, those changes will not take place now. This is a transition year. Come next year, we are going to sit down with the teachers union and determine exactly how we implement those changes. Now, there are a few schools who have embraced fully the new competency-based approach to the curriculum, and they see it as advantageous to them to adjust some of these hours, and they have done so in consultation with their teachers. So where that has been done, the ministry has said that's fine. If you have engaged with your teachers, you have consulted with them, they agree that this is in their best interest and they want to move ahead with this approach, we have no objections to that. But in terms of the overall curriculum and the overall move towards this change, as you describe it, it's really like something like moving from 27 and a half hours to I believe 30 hours or something like that. That will take place next year. That will take place next year. We have always said that this would be a transition period.
In recognition of Belize's 41st celebration of its independence, a mural was unveiled at the Rogers Stadium in Belize City today. The painting, which seeks to depict the effects of climate change on the environment and the hope of future transformation, was created by renowned visual artist Alex Sanker. News 5's Paul Lopez was at the unveiling this afternoon, and here's that report.
The Belize City Council, in collaboration with the National Celebrations Committee and the Embassy of Taiwan in Belize, unveiled a mural at the Rogers Stadium this afternoon. The mural was painted by renowned visual artist Alex Sanker. He explained the idea behind his artwork.
You know, they have certain level of, or I would say different art, realism, abstract, semi-abstract, etc. I'm more realism, even in my concept paintings. But to explore a different section in art, I had to become more of a kid to try to get the message across. Because the reality is, with global warming, climate change, all that, we as adults had failed these kids, which is the future of tomorrow. That's just fact. So what I wanted to do is something different, and I did talk to the mayor and his team about it. We have to do something that represents the kids, the future of tomorrow. So that's what this painting is about.
On a daily basis, hundreds of students walk this path along Rogers Stadium. Sanker says those students were his inspiration. Minister of Education Francis Fonseca, in his address, noted that the mural was strategically placed to spark conversation about Belize's history and culture.
If you travel across the world, you will see in all of these vibrant societies, in all of these vibrant cities, developing cities, you will see artistic expressions of their nation's culture and history. Very, very important. It's very, very important for us to preserve that history, to promote that history, to promote that culture. So it's important for us to have these walls, these murals painted, telling the story of Belize, telling the story of our history and our rich culture. And hopefully, when the young people who you see passing here today, when they're coming from school, hopefully they will stop and look and ask questions and begin to think about their own rich culture and history. That's the purpose of art, to stimulate thought, to stimulate discussion.
This is the second mural painted on the wall in celebration of Belize's independence. Deputy Mayor Alan Pollard Jr. referred to this as a masterpiece.
And what makes it a masterpiece is not merely the vibrant colors of the lifelike illustrations you see. This mural is a masterpiece in the way it perfectly mirrors who we are as a nation. Our beauty is evident, our value is unquestionable, but just like this mural shows, we are still a work in progress. We have more dreams to realize and more work to get done, especially after these past 2 years of limitations. But as our theme for this year's celebrations remind us, we are valiant, we are bold, and this is our time to rebound.
Reporting for News 5, I am Paul Lopez.
On Tuesday, we showed you how St. Mary's Hall and primary school buildings are falling apart. The buildings have stood there for almost 100 years and have undergone a series of rehabilitative work. But over the past months, they were deemed unsafe for occupancy. That has left parents of the roughly 300 school children scampering to make Plan B arrangements to have their kids continue distance learning. Today, Minister of Education Francis Fonseca weighed in on the matter. He said that it was regrettable that the Anglican management took so long to inform parents of the situation. The ministry, he said, will help to transport the children to other locations that the management has identified as classrooms in the time being.
The matter was first brought to my attention in June of this year when the principal of St. Mary's Anglican Primary School visited me, and she brought it to my attention. Immediately, and when I say immediately, I mean within 24 hours, I sent a team from the Ministry of Education, engineers, the projects unit, to assess the situation there at St. Mary's School, along with the Anglican management and the principal. And based on that assessment, this is back in June, we told the management and the school that the buildings were not suitable for education, suitable for classes, the conduct of classes for this academic year. That was in June. I believe the management then took it upon themselves to get a second opinion. They wanted to, and so they got their own engineering team to do another assessment of the building, which I think took another few weeks. And that assessment came to the same conclusion that we had arrived at, our team had arrived at. And then there was an ongoing discussion at that point between the management and the principal about perhaps what could be done to shore up the building. I don't know, it's regrettable that it took so long for them to engage with the parents and the community. I think that, in my view, is unacceptable and should have been done much more early. Having said that, I know they have engaged with the parents. I know that over the past few days, they have been engaged with the Ministry of Education. The Chief Education Officer has been in dialogue with the Anglican management. They have really scrambled to try to find alternative, suitable, safe facilities. I understand that they have done so. I think there is an intention to have a meeting tomorrow, Thursday, with parents, with all the parents of these students, to inform them and advise them of this plan to have these facilities. It may be that the ministry will be required to provide transportation for these students, because I understand the facilities are on the other side of the city. So we have to look at that, and we certainly are going to do that if that is required. But that is where it is in terms of St. Mary's. They have identified these facilities. They will have the meeting with the parents tomorrow, and based on that meeting, if there is consensus about moving, then they will do so.
After After the break, a pair of Dominican immigrants is busted with fake immigration stamps. We'll have that and more when we come back.
What is Amnesty 2022? An opportunity for undocumented immigrants living in Belize. Belize wants to help you to live freely and continue contributing to those communities you and your family now call home by offering a pathway to permanent residency. Why should you apply? In doing so, you remove barriers and reduce the difficulties faced living as an undocumented immigrant. Applying is easy. Go online to www.immigration.gov.bz for more information. Find out if you qualify, how to apply, what documents you need, and how to book your appointment. Be prepared. The registration period will be from the 2nd of August to the 30th of November 2022. Belize Amnesty 2022. Let's continue to build Belize together.
Make your summer better. Over $35,000 in cash and prizes with Smart Summer Sweepstakes. Here's how you can enter for a chance to win. Purchase any device, sign up for a smart postpaid, broadband, or VoIP plan, use $50 or more regular prepaid credit, do a SIM swap, or text to the short code. You win 8946. And in the body of the message, enter the number of entries you would like to purchase. Each entry costs only 50 cents.
Don't waste any time. You can be the winner of weekly prizes starting July 1st. All methods give you more chances to win airline tickets, overnight stays at numerous resorts, cash prizes, gift certificates, and much, much more. One lucky person will win the grand prize of a $10,000 shopping spree courtesy Court and Smart.
Promotion ends September 16, 2022. So make your summer better by getting in the race to win with Smart Summer Sweepstakes. Smart, bringing people together.
My name is James A. I attend Ephesus Seventh-day Adventist Primary School and I'm in Standard 4. One of the most important safety rules is to always keep your eyes on the road. The moment you take them off, you can be in danger of hitting another vehicle or a pedestrian. When you are driving in a car, motorcycle, or bicycle, you are not just responsible for yourself but for the other drivers and pedestrians. If everyone obeys these rules, we can all be safe while traveling because every life counts.
We're so grateful when we got the news that he was the first place winner. We also were winners along with him because the school received as well a gift because of his effort in writing this essay. We are all in deficit. We have a lot of different issues. We know that parents could not afford school fees and things, so our school will then utilize it in various ways.
Thank you, BEL, for giving me this opportunity to be part of the safety essay competition.
pair of immigrants from the Dominican Republic was busted by Ladyville police at a checkpoint on Tuesday with fake immigration stamps in their passports. 41-year-old Luis Sanchez Arias and 29-year-old Gary Pimentel Arias have been jointly charged with 1 count each of using and uttering upon a permit that they are not entitled to use. It is alleged that on September 6, they presented visitors' permits to Immigration Officer Dalia Mai, dated September 2nd, that are scheduled to expire on October 1st, that they were not permitted to use. When they appeared before the magistrate's court earlier today, both men were unrepresented and pleaded guilty. They were fined $1,000, which was to be paid forthwith, or in default, 6 months in prison. The taxi driver who is transporting them, 23-year-old Misael Salazar, was read 2 counts of facilitating the commission of a crime. He was imposed a non-custodial sentence of a fine of $1,000 on each count, which he is to pay by December 30th. The Cuban vessel that reportedly drifted to Belize last week is now the property of the government of Belize, following an application by the Immigration Department for the forfeiture of the boat. On Monday, 16 Cuban nationals were arraigned in Belize City Magistrates Court and deemed as prohibited immigrants. While there were no fines levied against the individuals, a removal order has since been issued, but they remain at the Belize Central Prison. The vessel, Fishing and Wishing, is presently impounded at the Belize Coast Guard compound in San Pedro. The University of Belize hosted its Belize at 41 lecture this afternoon at the Jaguar Auditorium in Belmopan. The event was held under the theme, Belize Finally Breaking the Chains of Colonial Thought at 41. One speaker, Dr. Christopher DeShiel, an assistant professor at the University of Belize, asked the question, have Belizeans broken free from colonial thought? Here is what he had to say on that.
As to the premise, have we broken free from colonial thought at present? The answer is a boring no. But this is not meant as a lament. The question, somewhat naive. You don't go through 300 years of plunder and poverty, of squalor and neglect, and then simply and righteously declare yourself free of all consequence and culpability. Further, and this is hard for me, and a challenge to those who throw about the word decolonization too facilely, our own cultural identities are so bound up with colonial history that I wonder if absolute decolonization isn't a form of autoimmune disorder. Our modern nation is born out of colonialism. To excise it must be painful. So no, just as those thinkers of post-colonialism and decolonization insist, these legacies of colonization persist to the present day. Structures that enable exploitation remain. They must be dismantled. So the question is, how does our education system provide learners with the tools to perform this dismantling? And how do we then rebuild and support attempts to reimagine more life-affirming futures? And I take this to be a challenge for myself and my colleagues. To what extent in our respective spheres of influence are we achieving these goals?
From colonial thoughts to embracing our native tongue, Erica Aguilar, a lecturer at the University of Belize, asked the audience for their reaction to rules that prevent students from speaking their native language in a classroom setting. Here's a short excerpt from Aguilar's lecture.
Only 40% of who you are is allowed in the classroom. How do you feel? Shocked? Confused? That 40% of you is the English language. The little of what you know about the English language. Open your eyes. How do you feel? How do you feel? You were not allowed to put on your best linguistic show as a child. This may have happened to most of you, if not all. The percentages were an estimate, of course, but the point is, were you aware of it? Were you aware that you are not allowed to be linguistically whole in the classroom? It is human nature to speak and use language to convey beliefs, values, culture, and way of life. There are no limitations to how many languages human can speak and understand. Languages are the very essence of being human, of being you. Every human has the biological makeup, the vocal apparatus, the brain function to speak and understand languages. To deny people of speaking their native tongue is to deny them the opportunity to demonstrate their authentic richness, says linguist Benjamin Worf. Because language is the best show man puts on.
When we return, police intervene in a political scuffle in Pachacan.
Everything must come to an end. A much-needed vacation, or even a good book. What about the world? How will it end? Should we be worried about the end? Frightened even? What does the Bible actually say about the end? Tune in right here as we discuss the end.
Keep still now.
Ouch.
I tell you no move.
Wow. You really can't get a mannequin for this, man? Really?
Well, son, if I never lend you the $2,000 to buy the kids' computer and the book, I may have the money for buying my mannequin.
It's definitely better to borrow from the bank than from your friends or relatives. This way, all you owe is money.
Would you like me to turn around?
That would be good. Turn on, turn on, turn on.
Take advantage of the back-to-school promotion currently being offered by the Belize Bank.
Biodegradable plastics. When talking about plastic, don't you always hear people say that this plastic or that plastic is biodegradable, eco-friendly, environmentally friendly, green, or even ecological? Well, the truth is that these words and many others like them are often used to give the impression that the product is better for the environment. When shopping, the terms to look for are bio-based, compostable, or environmentally degradable plastics because they are tested against specific standards to ensure that they are broken down with minimal impacts to the environment. But what does biodegradable really mean? To put it simply, it is the breakdown of something into water, carbon dioxide, and biomass by the action of living organisms, usually bacteria or fungus. However, people call some plastics biodegradable, but they never fully break down because they still contain plastics made from petroleum or inorganic material. The plastics just break down into tinier pieces called microplastics, which then enter the food cycle through the ingestion by animals that people eat. Don't be fooled, check your labels. Click on the link below to see what you can do to help end the nightmare of single-use plastics. I'm Alison Castillo, and now you know.
Download the SmartStream app on the Android Play Store and create your account to get access to movies and stream at home or on the go. Prepaid customers can purchase regular data packages or get a discounted rate on a special SmartStream package by dialing 7737. Postpaid customers will be billed monthly. Never miss a movie again with SmartStream.
There are reports of a video circulating with a senior officer sharing sensitive information that shouldn't be leaked. The officer, who is the commander at one of the precincts in Eastern Division of Belize Police Department, was allegedly caught snitching on criminals. While Minister of Home Affairs Karim Musa says that he is not aware of any such video, the allegation is concerning.
We understand that supposedly he was giving information to rivals who should not have access to that because they're leaking sensitive information. And like I said, I haven't seen the video, but I'm told that it exists.
I could look into it. I could look into it.
Okay,
good,
sir.
Is it concerning as such an allegation has been made though? We see that.
Of course it's a concern. And then you have to look at what the police department did in respect of that incident, if it did happen.
In another incident, this time in the village of Pachacan in the Corzal district, police found themselves in the middle of an altercation involving political opponents who were in a scuffle over the use of a public space. While there are allegations of preferential treatment for a particular political party, Minister Musa says that it is wrong for an area rep to assert him or herself in that manner.
It's a very sad day for politics and a sad day for democracy, Daniel, when area representatives feel as though they have ownership of assets that belong to particular villages across this country. I am told that the area representative actually physically went out there, and there are allegations, not that he threw bottles, but that other people threw bottles. I think there was a pageant, a Miss Pachacan pageant that was being held over the weekend, and it got confrontational. Now imagine that. You cannot, as villagers, have a nice evening with your family without politics getting involved in it. I don't understand there to be another conflicting event that was planned for last week, Saturday. But at the same time, you have these area representatives that feel as though they have ownership of these common grounds that the villagers want to enjoy as well. So I don't see how politics could even get to that level that you would want to stop the villagers from having an event and from having a good time. That's ridiculous. Now, in terms of booking the venue for future events, I'm sure that there has to be a system in place. If it is that the village council manages that particular dome area, then you have to apply through the village. But at the same time, it shouldn't be that an area representative actually shows himself and flexes on that level to basically claim ownership of the village.
Exactly 1 week after winning Season 4 of KTV The Remix, Lisa Hemmons-Robotou is in braces and will not be able to do much for the next 3 months after she was knocked down off her motorcycle on Coney Drive in Belize City. Hemmons-Robotou was struck from behind by a car driven by a woman. Today, News 5 caught up with Hemmons-Robotou, and Dwayne Moody files this report.
Doctor said that I have 2 vertebrae that have been broken, fractured, and I have scrapes on my hands and legs.
That to have been frightening.
It is. It was. It still is surreal. I don't know. I never felt like. I couldn't believe that that was actually coming my way when I heard the wheels, because I wasn't driving fast. It was a normal speed limit.
And by the doctor's order, she won't be able to do much for the next 3 months, as Lisa Hemmons-Robotou will be wearing a brace to support her back.
According to Dr. Smith, I need to wear this brace for about 3 months until I can do anything normal again. I can't bend down, I have to just sit upright. So I guess now I'll take my regal position.
So literally you won't be able to perform or anything like that for the next 3 months.
Right, just rest.
The Season 4 winner of KTV The Remix was the victim of an accident on Tuesday on Coney Drive. She recounts what happened just before 7 p.m.
Yeah, so I went for gas at the Puma gas station around 6:45 or something, and I was just driving straight down the road, stopping at every bump, etc. And when I passed the junction by Malou, I heard the wheels of a car. I don't know if the car was bracing or speeding up, but after I heard the wheels, then there was a big bang, and I felt the car bang me in the back of the cycle, the scooter, and then I flew off the cycle and landed on my back.
The driver of the vehicle has since been served with a notice of intended prosecution, and blood and urine samples were retrieved for testing.
All I know is that they got footage from Malou, which showed that the driver sped up behind me and she rammed the cycle. They're still waiting on tests to see if she was under the influence or not. But yeah. So I want to encourage everybody who is out there, and if you're under the influence, please stop. Don't drive like that.
Drink and drive.
Don't. Yeah, it's not good for anybody. You put people's life in danger, and I don't even know if I'll ever be able to move as normal as I used to before. But I'm hoping for a speedy recovery.
Dwayne Moody for News 5.
Just ahead, the MSME roadshow pulls into Belize City.
If you have a baby on the way, here is what you need to know about maternity benefit. It includes both an allowance for 14 weeks and a grant, which is a lump sum of $300. The basic requirements are: you must be employed, you must have at least 50 paid contributions, and you must have continuous contributions leading up to delivery. To apply, a licensed doctor certifies the expected date of delivery. The employer completes the salaries record. Submit your completed claim form as soon as possible. After giving birth, submit your continuation claim no later than 3 weeks after delivery. If the mother does not qualify, the father of the child may qualify for the maternity grant. Want to know more about maternity benefit or grant? Visit our website or contact any of our offices to have someone assist you. Also, be sure to visit our Facebook page and give us a like to stay informed. Social Security Board, safeguarding you, your family, your future.
In 2018, I was diagnosed with cervical 4A, stage 4A cancer. First, it was the size of a grapefruit. That's what the doctor told me. The kidney got enlarged. I couldn't do any chemotherapy because of the kidney. So I had to do only radiation. And I did my first session of 25. And then when I finished with the 25 sessions, I went back, she checked it, and she saw 4 centimeters. And I went back for the next 10 days, and after that, and she checked it again, she said, it's like nothing is there. It wasn't painful, but it's a machine that you go under, and they have like a big, like a circular, and that goes 5 times. You take 5 minutes. 5 minutes to do the radiation, 1 session. Then you go back the next morning, another session. Well, I personally will highly recommend Galenia Hospital because of its good services, friendly staff, the doctors, very caring. Well, I just want to thank them for everything that they have done for me, you know, the staff and the doctor, especially Dr. Jamie, because she was my doctor for the radiation. No?
Dwayne Moody, Isani Cayetano, Marian Ali, Paul Lopez. Your News 5 Belize teams do whatever it takes. Go wherever they need to go, so you can catch the story wherever you are, whenever you want, on whatever device. Channel 5 Belize on television, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. Because news is now everywhere, all the time. And so are we.
Standing over this. Messi.
Great entertainment stays with you, and we bring you great entertainment. Next Gen, the ultimate digital experience.
Make your
summer better. Over $35,000 in cash and prizes with Smart Summer Sweepstakes. Here's how you can enter for a chance to win. Purchase any device, sign up for a smart postpaid, broadband, or VoIP plan, use $50 or more regular prepaid credit, do a SIM swap, or text to the short code. You win 8946. And in the body of the message, enter the number of entries you would like to purchase. Each entry costs only 50 cents.
Don't waste any time. You can be the winner of weekly prizes starting July 1st. All methods give you more chances to win. Airline tickets, overnight stays at numerous resorts, cash prizes, gift certificates, and much, much more. One lucky person will win the grand prize of a $10,000 shopping spree courtesy Court and Smart.
Promotion ends September 16, 2022. So make your summer better by getting in the race to win with Smart Summer Sweepstakes. Smart, bringing people together.
The National Forensic Science Services was the recipient of equipment that will improve the capacity of the organization to carry out its duties. Both pieces of equipment will assist with the almost instant detection of illegal substances and can be used at the lab or on the ground at crime scenes by police officers and other law enforcement agencies. And then it also builds the capacity of the cold storage unit at the NFSS. During a brief handing over ceremony today, the media found out that this is only part of a wider initiative to construct a new lab retrofitted with necessary equipment to be self-sufficient without having to outsource services. News 5's Dwayne Moody reports.
The government of Belize has purchased 2 pieces of equipment through a loan facility from the Central American Bank for Economic Integration for the National Forensic Science Services.
2 equipment we received today is an advanced laboratory grade evidence storage refrigerator. We have refrigerators already, but a forensic laboratory always needs additional storage space. So this refrigerator will allow us additional storage space using proper temperature storage conditions. The second equipment is a portable Fourier transform infrared spectrometer. It's a tongue twister, but it's basically an instrument that allows for rapid field identification of chemical substances using confirmatory analysis. So it provides reliable, accurate field testing of suspected controlled substances or any substances under law enforcement investigation.
There has been greater reliance on forensic evidence for cases, and so Minister of Home Affairs Karim Musa says that improvement of the NFSS is needed.
As you know, traditionally police rely almost exclusively on eyewitness testimony, but we are now diversifying the evidence that we're gathering, and so what we have here today is a huge game changer. We have the field test kit that will now be used out in the field by our law enforcement agencies, not just the NFSS, but also our ANU officers, even the Customs Department can have access to it.
It is part of the $60 million Belize Integral Security Program that was designed back in 2010-2011. It was approved in 2014, and Belize received its first disbursement 4 years later. But according to CEO Dr. Osman Martinez, the project was using money only for operational expenses. So the acquisition of the 2 pieces of equipment is a historical moment for the project.
Today marks a historical moment for the project, which is the Belize Integral Security Program, for the Ministry of Economic Development, but more important, it shows the commitment of the Briseño administration that we have in getting the job done. We have been clear with all projects that if we will not deliver, then you will have to step down and give the opportunity to people, to Belizean people who want to do and who want to work for the nation of Belize and the Belizean people.
But that is only one small aspect of of this $60 million loan that we are investing in law enforcement in Belize. So the Belize Defense Force, the Belize Coast Guard, the Belize Police Department, and also the NFSS will be huge beneficiaries of equipment, of infrastructure, of camera systems, of motor vehicles, you name it, to enhance our law enforcement capabilities and certainly strengthen us so that when we get before a court of law, we can deliver that type of evidence.
In subsequent disbursements of this loan, more funding will be provided for the purchase of additional equipment to supplement the inventory at the NFSS. But equipment aside, the National Forensic Science Services will, in the near future, benefit from the construction of a new lab as well as a forensic morgue.
There is $6.478 million Belize dollars that will be invested in design and construction of a forensic facility. And two, there is $2.169 million Belize dollars that will be invested in equipment to further equip the Belize Forensics Science Service. And the total amount will be $8.647 Belize million that will be invested for the National Forensic Science Service will enjoy.
Dwayne Moody for News 5.
The National MSME Roadshow is being held at the ITVET compound in Belize City and will run until Friday. The initiative, which is being carried out by Beltrade with the support of the Ministry of Finance, is making its way down from Corzal. News 5's Isani Catano reports.
A national initiative to support micro, small, and medium enterprises, or MSMEs, across the country was launched by the Office of the Prime Minister and Beltrade at the end of July. The idea is to foster an enabling environment for the development of MSMEs, as well as to improve market access and establishment of business linkages. Several weeks later, the traveling initiative has made its way to Belize City.
Here's an opportunity that will help you to get, like business modeling, how to understand how to do business. All of those trainings that you will need in order to sustain yourself, that is being available. And we're calling it a boot camp. Boot camp means you stay in there and you get all the information and you know how to operate. You will have things like pop-up shops where, like on Friday, you can bring out your business, people can learn more about it. There will be town hall meetings because we do want feedback. It should be, dialogue-oriented.
Deputy Mayor Alan Pollard Jr. attended on behalf of the Belize City Council. He likens what he saw to the realization of certain aspects of the People's United Party's Plan Belize manifesto.
I'm just happy to see that, these are some of the things that were in the Plan Belize document, and some of the things that we campaigned on, and seeing these things come to fruition now is quite a remarkable thing. And I'm happy to see that we have full attendance today. People are very engaged, and it's not just information, but people are involved. It's very interactive, and I think that a lot could come out of it. And just to expand on what we have been seeing in the Belize City Accelerator program, and having programs like these, I feel very comfortable in the future of Belizean economy.
A formalization clinic will subsequently provide a space for key government agencies and financial institutions to offer services and relevant information to MSMEs, including live registrations.
At the end of all of this, what we want is a registry of all operating MSMEs. It's hard for us to really understand how many of them are really operated. The other part of it is there's a lot of informals that exist, and there's a fear that you only want me to formalize because you want me to pay taxes. No, there's so many benefits to formalization. So that will help us quite a bit to have some understanding in a database of the number, and then we can reconcile that information with the SIBs and other data gathering institutions.
Reporting for News 5, I am Isani Cayetano.
And that's the news. Tonight's broadcast is available in both text and streaming video at channel5belize.com. You can also connect with us on our Facebook page at facebook.com/News5Live. I'm Sabrina Daly. Thanks for joining us. And from all of us here at News 5, please remember to wash your hands, keep your social distance, and stay safe. Good night.